Hi everyone, this is our final project for Advanced Stats. I'm Kenneth Miller.
I'm Colin Baer.
I'm Ramya Prabhakar.
And I'm Emily Williams.
Today we'll just kind of go through our process for looking at the three key metrics: impressions, clicks, and win rate. We'll start with data cleaning and how we aggregated the tables, and then we'll move on to the models, particularly lasso, regression, and random forest. And then from there, we'll talk about advanced techniques that we attempted to improve our models, and then finally key takeaways.
So first, we're going to talk about the data cleansing process. So as the data was aggregated at the moment in the different tabs, we assumed that it was the same data aggregated on different levels. So what we did was created aggregated tables on unique columns for each of those tabs. An example list would be the browser tab on the browser column. We created new columns where total ad spend on certain attributes aggregated on the date, city campaign, and IO tactic. An example of this would be the column for the ad spent for Google Chrome browser. We also filled in all NAs with zeros and ended up with 70 columns that we used to predict metrics. We also did not include the site and supply vendor tabs in our analysis, as we felt the site tab had too many websites, as well as the supply vendor tab was missing the IO tactic column, so that we were unable to aggregate on that level. For the metric columns, we use a similar approach where we aggregated on the date, city campaign, and IO tactic for each of the tabs. We summed up the conversions across all the tabs and then averaged these columns for one final column for our final data. We did the same strategy for clicks, but for win rate, we had to average it again at first because it's a percentage, and then average it once again. This is an example of what our table looks like in a condensed format. As you can see, we also separate city from the campaign column to help to add some more insight. We also changed date to just be the month, as the date was already just being the month. We also decided to include Tableau visualizations to help us understand the distribution of the current ad spend. For the IO tactic, we noticed quickly that display and mobile ads were by far the highest ad spenders. We also noticed that Atlanta, Dallas, Minneapolis, and Orlando had the highest ad spend out of all the cities, and the campaigns that spent the most were New Car and Outback Conquest. It also should be noted that December, January, February, March, and April have the highest ad spend, which is probably because of holiday sales and New Year promotions.
Now let's take a look at the models that we experimented with. We used the lasso, random forest, and stepwise regression models. In each of these, we had to divide the data into training and test sets. We used a 70-30 split for the lasso models, while we stuck to a 60-40 split for the random forest and the stepwise regression models. We saw that the best results for clicks and conversions came from the lasso model, whereas for the win rate was from the random forest model. Now let's take a look at the important features that drive clicks. In the lasso model, we saw that the tablet 10 p.m. ads, mobile device using WebView were the most important ones. If we look at the coefficient column for the tablet, we can see that there's a value of 1.09. What this translates to is increasing the ad spend for tablet devices by $1 would increase the number of clicks by a factor of 1.09. Similarly for the rest. We can also see that the R-squared value this model gave us was 87.82%, which is a fairly great predictor. Now let's take a look at the next slide, which talks about the conversions. For conversions, we saw that the key factors were the cities, the model campaign in terms of the new car, and also reiterating the fact that we noticed in the previous clicks model, the hour 22 ad spend. The fold position below and above seem to contribute, though not equally, in the success of this conversion rate. And also, moving along with the same line of explanation, we saw that Philadelphia and DC ads for new cars, which were placed around 10 p.m. below the fold position, yielded the greatest number of conversions. The R-squared for this model was close to 80%.
For our third model, we implemented a random forest to predict win rate. This was on a 60-40 train test configuration. And as you can see on the right, those are the the top 10 most important features for the model. So as you can see, mobile and tablet ads were very important, as well as certain browsers such as Chrome and Safari. And early morning and late at night ads were more likely to be won. This makes sense in a way just because the mobile and tablet ad space, as well as the late at night and early morning ad spaces, are particularly not as competitive as other spaces. And then on the left there, you can see our mean absolute error is 0.034, which is pretty low, and this is a pretty predictive model.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the advanced techniques that we applied to our models in order to make them more accurate. We attempted to classify our website column by genre, so separating them into news websites, social medias, etc. In order to do this, we began to explore the Amazon Alexa website, which provides this type of information. So we wanted to pull from their API in order to gain the information, and while we were able to successfully do this one time, it was not replicable. However, we do believe that had we had a little bit more time to play around with it, we would have eventually been able to get this up and running, and we think that it would have definitely helped our models. We also attempted to use web scraping in order to classify the websites. However, due to the lack of usable URLs, our success was limited with that technique. What we were able to actually implement into our project was the Tableau visualizations. And this allowed us to demonstrate ad spend across each location, device, month, and campaign for better data visualization. Some of our key takeaways and our recommendations for our client are that from our models, we were able to deduce that in order to receive the most clicks, ads should be served in the late night or early morning time on mobile devices, and that ad should be placed above the fold. In order to generate the most conversions, our models revealed that late nighttime ads below the fold are more successful, specifically those in Philadelphia and DC. We suspect that it's because customers have already scrolled to the bottom of the website when they're seeing these ads. And finally, we found that when implementing mobile ads in the early morning or evening below the fold, better win rates are yielded. That being said, we recommend that Subaru shift geographic focus. At present, the majority of the ad spend is being funneled into Atlanta. By allocating some of that to the DC and Philadelphia area, they are likely to gain new clients through conversion. Additionally, we recommend Subaru continue to allocate spend dollars to the new car campaign in order to maximize clicks, conversion, and win rate based on the results of our model. In terms of devices, we recommend deploying the majority of the ads on the mobile and tablet devices, as this was likely to increase win rate and clicks. And finally, we recommend deploying ads in the later hours of the day due to less competition, as well as throughout the day, because that also showed to improve clicks, conversion, and win rate. Thank you for your time, and please feel free to reach out with us with any questions you have via Slack or email.